Anyway, today is a 1-1-1, four ones, little one drop tournament. Keep blasting it in there, doing my best. After that, we have a lot of stuff lined up. There's a 5K turbo tomorrow, then there is a 10K 6-max, then there's a 50K tournament, and after that, I am done. So we're gonna essentially try to martingale it for the rest of the series. We're gonna go 1K, 5K, 10K, 50K, and either I'll win or I'll lose. I have 3 starting stacks and the little one drop. I only had to win a flip. Maybe. I'm gonna win all of it back in the $1,000 tournament.
Great card table, please.
There's a warning thunderstorm outside.
I need to see a little drop.
No, there is no
Hand me that water bottle.
Oh, come on, guys. Can you please support me on this one?
Hey, it's raining.
Yes. Do it.
What is that, 800?
Here we are at the Rio. It's been raining.
Keep filling your hands.
Now there's no lights.
Hey guys, be careful! I told you it's gonna happen.
It's been fun.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Another one. Oh my god, it's so scary now. The glass gonna fall. No way. Light off. Raining. Glasses. Oh my god. No way. Hey, I'm holding my head. 1 second. Okay. Whatever happens, happened. I'm not gonna come to my head.
So we made day 2 of the little one drop with 90,000 chips, thanks to an Ari Engel punt. It's a lot of fun. There's no lights in here, it's raining.
Why you gotta ruin it for me? Why you gotta tell everyone?
White for you,
Sorry,
sir?
sorry.
Damn.
Yellow inside?
We're gonna come back tomorrow and try it again. Here we are watching my friend, who's actually the best man at my wedding, Shannon Shore, play at the feature table of the World Series of Poker main event. They're down to about 200 players, and he has about 1.5 times average. So that's a lot of fun. Here's the other feature table, one of the other ones. You can see Esfandiari kind of sitting through there. I don't really know who else is there. But anyway, let's go Shannon. Can we get it one time? Guess we'll see. We're on the bubble of the 1-1-1-1. There's my seat right back there. We have about 3 times average, so that's good. Sometimes you're lucky.
Attention all players, please take your seats. We need to be able to see the field. All players, please take your seats.
Look how happy everyone is. Almost all of them get in the money for $1,500 on their 1-1-1-1. Most of us are in for 3-3-3-3 or 8-8-8-8. I'm in for 2-2-2-2, so a min cash only loses us $722. No, that's not right. Is that right? Loses us some. It doesn't make a difference. We're trying to win the tournament.
Chicken. I was about a resident.
Congratulations, everyone. You're all in the money. All right, players, I have some very important news for you this time.
Well, I busted in about 350th place, which makes me even for the tournament. I think I get 2,300 bucks, and I was in for 2,200. Didn't really win any hands. Once I won the 2 big hands right off the bat to get up to 170K, and from there I really lost pretty much every pot. It was actually kind of annoying because they folded to me on the button like 7 times, and I had like ace king, pocket jacks, pocket kings, etc. And I raised almost every button just because I had the nuts almost every hand. And the opponents folded almost every time. And these were like good kids. It was so frustrating. They just must have had absolute garbage. The one time I did play a hand I raised with fours, big blind called. It came 10-7-3. He checked, I bet tiny, he called. Turn was a 2, it goes check, check. River was another 2. He bet big, he potted it. And whenever all the draws miss, you pretty much have to call with all your bluff catchers. And there we don't block any of the bluffs. So, pretty easy call. He shows up with queen 10 for a good value bet. That put me down to about 20 big blinds. My bust out hand was kind of annoying. I min raised with 7s from the hijack seat. Same kid, good kid. He called button. And then in the blinds were 2 shallow stacks who'd been very tight. And I don't think he has a good reason to think they're going to jam because they actually had been very, very tight, which made me think that he would probably play a more standard strategy where he's going to 3-bet some hands and call reasonable stuff. However, he could just be trapping. Anyway, he called. Small blind went all in for about 8 big blinds. I decided to shove my 20 with the pocket 7s, although I think it's close. I put in 2 already, so it's 6 more to try to win like 15 total. So do I have 40% equity? Probably. I shoved and button trapped us. He had the aces, so good play by him. Maybe he somehow knew the guy to his left was shoving, I don't know. Or maybe he just decided to get me. So he got me. I definitely could have folded the 7s. I was actually really close to folding the 7s because I actually trapped 2 people so far in very similar spots. So it's like, it's just a good play to call with aces there. A lot of people just don't do it though. So anyway, I'm out 350 plays for almost no money. Tomorrow's 10K 6-handed. I'm gonna play that. And then in 2 days is the 50K. Also, Shannon Shore, he was my best man at my wedding. He is still in the main event with about 50 people left. He has about an average stack. It'd be fun for him to win that, that's for sure. So I'm gonna have some dinner, rail him for a bit, go home, get some rest, try it again tomorrow. Here we are, 10K 6-handed. We're having fun. We're having a party over there. We're trying to play a tournament in here. Thanks. So I busted the 10K 6-handed tournament last night in a relatively big pot, blind versus blind, where I certainly could have done a lot of things differently. And instead, I ended up playing a big pot. I had 2 pair. I limped big blind raise, Dominic Niche, very good player. I called his 4 big blind raise, which is close. Someone sent me an email saying, why would you possibly limp in with rags in the small blind? You have to realize Jack 7 is actually pretty decent. And we're getting good pot odds. So will I realize 17% equity? Yes. Then, when the opponent raises, I need to realize 33% equity. That gets a little bit closer, but I think it's still probably fine. Flop came Jack 7-3 with a flush draw. Goes check, check. Opponent said, or someone who sent an email said, why don't you lead there? Leading's reasonable, but the problem is that if I check raise, we get to play for stacks with a really good hand. Whereas if I lead, it lets him call with all sorts of stuff in position, and he's not really making a huge mistake. So check, check on the flop. I 1.5x'd a 10 turn. In this spot, he probably shouldn't have too many 9-8s raising pre-flop. So I'm really only worried about Jack 10, but Jack 10 probably bets. So I had the best hand here a lot. He could have pocket 10s. That's certainly reasonable. So I bet 1.5x pot. He called. River was a queen, and I bet again about pot, and then he thought for a while and then went all in. And I convinced myself that he is capable of bluffing in this spot with pocket 9s and pocket 8s, obvious blockers, right? And then maybe even a hand like King 7 or King, whatever the low card is, King 3 or 9-3, like he's deciding to raise very polarized pre-flop. I wasn't worried about 9-8 pretty much at all, and the only hands that really get there are King 9, which would make sense, and then Ace King, which would also make sense. He may not call the turn with Ace King, just overcards and gut shot. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It's tough to say. Probably does though. So if he's ever bluffing in this spot, given the pot odds of this game at like 5 or 6 to 1, I think I probably need to pay it off. But there's certainly better hands to bluff catch with. If he's ever raising in on this river with stuff like 2 pair though, or sets, then the call becomes very dicey. Anyway, I ended up losing a big pot where, you know, clearly I could have just limp folded pre-flop if I wanted to be a nit. I could have not blasted the turn, which would have led to a smaller pot. I could have checked the river, which would have led to a smaller pot. But I played a big pot, so I lost. So that was a bit of a bummer. But that's okay. Tomorrow's the 50K tournament. I'm going to relax today. I'm about to head out to the pool. And going to try to probably not play big pots with marginal hands out of position. Today's the $50,000 tournament. This will be a good one to win. It's my last tournament of the summer. After this, I'm going to be coaching a player in the $1 million tournament, so no more poker for me. It's not been a good summer. I've not won very many hands, but I think I've saved them up all today for the 50K. Hello everyone, I have a little bit of poker advice for you today. Whenever you're playing a tournament, or a cash game, or any poker, realize that sometimes when you start playing, you're going to lose some hands. And when you do, don't let that bother you, don't let that tilt you. For example, I'm playing the $50,000 tournament right now, and like the third hand of the day, I had pocket aces. It came king 8, 5. I bet the opponent called, turn was a queen. I check called, river was a 4, I check called. And he had king queen for turn 2 pair. So right off the bat, I'm down like 40 big blinds or something like that. And that's okay. You have to stay sane and just keep playing your best. Don't go on tilt trying to win back the chips that you thought were yours. Don't just lose your mind. And also, don't become a super nit and just sit there and play no pots. So whenever things are going poorly, just realize your job is to sit there, be sane, and continue playing the absolute best poker you know how. And with a little bit of luck, maybe you'll recover and win the tournament. Well, I busted the 50K. It's a pretty unfortunate spot, actually. The blinds got kind of high. They were 3,000, 6,000. And I had 320K or 340K, something like that. I raised ace-5 offsuit in the cutoff, which is a little bit loose, but I'd been somewhat tight. Then Stefan Schillhobel, one of the German kids, I think that's how you say his name, he called big blind. Flop came 5-3-2, and he led for 18K. I made it 15K pre-flop. He led for 18K. 5-3-2, I have ace 5. So I've gut shot, top pair. He leads for 18K. Typically, when people develop a leading range here, it's either going to be nut hands, like 6-4 for a straight, ace 4, which I block, pocket 5s, which I block, pocket 3s and pocket 2s, and bluffs. So what are the bluffs on ace, on a 5-3-2? That's going to be a hand containing a 4 or a hand containing a 6. Those are the obvious bluffs. There are lots of those available. So he bets, I call clearly. I could raise, but if I raise, I'm probably only going to get action from sets, and you know the fours have a decent amount of equity, not a ton, but some. So I don't really want that. I don't really want to raise and get it in, right? That would be a bit loose. So I called. Turn was a 3. So now pocket 3s is less likely, which is actually a good thing for me. I have some outs to just the nuts if I get a 5. And a 4 is probably okay too, assuming I'm behind. You know, again, he could just be bluffing here with a 4 or a 6. So yeah, he leads now for 80K. It's about pot. If I call, I'll have about a pot size bet behind, I believe. And I decided to call. Some people say, oh, why would you not raise here? Well, if I raise, I'm just getting it in against the set, so I'm drawing dead, right? And I also get the bluffs to fold. And notice the bluffs here. A 4 is drawing very thin, and the 6 is also drawing thin. All right, river is a 4. So now I have the bad end of the straight and the top pair. And of course he goes all in, as expected. I actually did not really want the 4 to come. That sounds kind of crazy to say, but if you think about his bluffs, the 4s, you know, we're still beating those, but now the 6s get there. I'd much rather the river be like a 9 or something, because that's just complete blank. Unless he had 9-4 or 9-6, right? So anyway, he went all in, and this is actually a very close spot, because sometimes we're going to be chopping when he has like ace 4 or ace X that just decided to play oddly. Anyway, I decided to call. I think it's close. I convinced myself that he would still turn the 4s into a bluff, like say he had king 4, or queen 4, or jack 4, or 10-4, or whatever. I convinced myself he would turn those into bluffs still. Also, if he had 5-4, I convinced myself he would turn that into a bluff, but we blocked that, so that's a little bit unlikely. It's tough to know if he's actually bluffing the river or not. You know, if he's just never bluffing the river with the 4s, then I should probably fold. So anyway, I called, and he had 8-6, so he had the gut shot, and it came in, and I paid. So yeah, that sucks. That's the end of my summer. I'm going to go to the club now. I don't go to the club very often, but I've been invited, so I'm going to go. And tomorrow's an off day. Then I'm going to be coaching the $1 million tournament. I'm going to do my best with that. This summer has not been lucrative for me. I think I had one cash out of like 10 tournaments, and it was the smallest one I played, which is always frustrating. I just had lots of unfortunate spots, kind of like that last hand where, you know, you're in pretty good shape going to the river, and you know you're paying off a lot of the time because your opponent's range should be quite bluff heavy. But they get you. It's kind of lame.
chip count of 19,650,000, Rick Solomon. In seat number 2 with a chip count of 10,525,000, Byron Caverman. In seat number 3 from New York, New York, with 12,300,000 chips, David Einhorn. In seat number 4 with a chip count of 22,125,000 from Vienna, Austria, Feder Holtz. Starting our final table in seat number 5 as our chip leader with 48,950,000 chips from Glendale, Colorado, Justin Bonomo. And finally, rounding out our final table in seat number 6 with a chip count of 21,450,000 from Las Vegas, Nevada, Dan Smith.
Yeah, Dan Smith.
Tonight's play will begin with 250,000, 500,000 blinds with a 500,000 chip ante. There's 25 minutes, 50 seconds remaining at this level. Let's bring the dealer out and let's shuffle up and deal. Good luck to these players.
Well, David busted on the bubble. Not what we wanted at all, but that's what we got. Now we're at Top Golf, playing golf. His bust out hand, actually he had 3 hands he played at the final table. He defended the big blind with Queen 10, it came low cards and he folded to a bet, fine. Next when he defended Jack 10, it came 9-7-5 against Fedor. Fedor had Ace-8 of spades. David checked, Fedor checked. If Fedor bet, David was gonna go all in, but Fedor checked, he played it well. Then it went check, 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 check. We lost. We maybe could have bluffed turn and river there, but you don't really want to be bluffing off. Especially against maybe Fedor, who's just checking sets and stuff like that sometimes. So that was annoying. Then we got down to about 18 big blinds, I think, and we had ace-queen on the button. Now, David and I had a long talk. Are we playing to win, or are we playing to maximize equity? And the answer's somewhere in between. Yes, it's nice to cash. We'd love to collect the cash. But at the end of the day, we're trying to win this tournament. Okay, fine. Knowing that, the play, if we only care about min cashing, is to shove. However, that's not what we're trying to do. So, we decided to raise the ace-queen instead of shove, because we're not exactly trying to min cash. We're trying to win the tournament. So, Bonomo called the 2.75 big blind raise with 7-4 offsuit, which I think is probably way too loose. We also really wanted to raise to let Bonomo shove, because yesterday David raised aces. Bonomo shoved king 5 offsuit for like 20 big blinds, and obviously we snapped him off and won. So we know Bonomo is very capable of shoving wide, and we didn't mind that. We don't mind getting it in with 60% equity, which, you know, if we're trying to cash, you don't want that, but again, we're trying to win. So, flop came 7-5-5, 2 clubs. Knowing Bonomo's defending all sorts of garbage, Bonomo checked. David bet 1.6 million, got shoved on, and David decided to call it off, which is close, but if Bonomo has the obvious draws, all flush draws, and 8-6 and 6-4, it's probably just a call. We probably have like 48% equity right there, something like that. I don't know, I haven't ran it. We're golfing now. And if he has more draws, like the gut shots, then it's just an easy call. So once he bets the flop, I don't mind calling it off. We could also check behind, but given we know Bonomo's defending all sorts of garbage, we don't really mind betting. So I know it looks a little bit splashy and fishy, but I'm actually kind of happy with the way he played it. I mean, I am happy with the way he played it. The commentator said that should end my poker coaching career. If they knew everything I knew, I think they'd be happy with it. That's the fun thing about poker tournaments. People are not all playing for the same reason. The kids, it was very clear, like Byron was there trying to really just get an men cash. Like he folded pocket eights that hand in the cutoff seat, which seems really nitty to me. But he really wanted that cash apparently, and there's nothing wrong with that. David really wanted that bracelet, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So that's gonna end the summer. Summer was nothing but a bummer. My next trip's to Florida in about a month. See you then. It's always a fun night. We had some golf balls. We had a party. Summer wasn't so bad.
Travel the world with some extraordinary people who not only care about what we're doing, they care about the stories of the people that are involved, and they care about the charity work we're doing. I want to just especially thank David Gitter is the president of the WPT Foundation. He's hiding back here. There he is. He's way over there in the corner. Give him a round of applause. David has helped raise $11 million for charitable organizations through the WPT Foundation. And he's in the homes of millions of people. Every week, help me welcome Lynn Gilmartin. She has also accomplished a poker player and also has just completed a movie. And is back from Australia. And then finally, kind of calling the action tonight, former radio host, a permanent co-commentator of the WPT, and a WPT champion. Let's hear it for Tony Dunn. All right, Tony. There you are. Tony did not complete a movie, but he went to a movie. We're grateful for that.
We're underdressed because we just got off the airplane. We're playing the World Poker Tour, Take Him to School tournament. It's always a great event.
200, 400 on the lines. 200, 400.
I mean, now after Wonder Chrome blew up. Yeah. A couple months ago. I don't know.
Amy, how do you feel? You lost.
You married somebody famous, it's your fault. It's actually beautiful, though. It's actually really
Very
cool.
beautiful. Back to the action. We're down to 9.
The 9 would have been good.
And just like that,
Just like that.
we're down to 8. Amy, what prize do you want?
My family can see.
Wow. Poker list.
Number 9. Here we are, we're all in. 8 people remain. What do we have? King 10. An ace.
Wow.
Thanks.
Ouch.
Against the King 10 for Amy, he needs to improve Jack,
All
Jack,
right.
Jack on the second. Jack got 7 on the flop. Turn King, so 2 outs going to the river. 10. Aces and Jacks are going to be Kings and Jacks. Lose Amy in 9th place.
I literally can't see it.
It's a player on that.